It's the 2025 NCAA tournament, and Braden Smith is about to do something almost no one does against Houston: exploit their ball screen defense. The Cougars have probably the best ball screen D in the country. They aggressively blitz handlers and usually force opponents to find other ways to score. But Smith is not the usual point guard, and with a trip to the Elite Eight on the line, Purdue chose to attack the blitz, screening once and then re-screening a second time to let their star create off the bounce. On this play, nothing is doing on the first screen, but on the second, Smith is able to split the coverage, something you just never see against Houston. It was an epic matchup between the best passer in the country and the best defense. The game came down to the final possession, with the Boilermakers just missing the upset of the one-seeded Cougars. But not only did Smith end the game with 15 assists, Purdue made 11 shots in the second half. Smith assisted on every single one of them. And all of those assists were no fluke. The now senior point guard is right on pace to break the record for most career assists in NCAA history by the end of this season. So Smith will likely wind up as the most accomplished passer in college basketball history, and it's translating to great team success. This year, Purdue ranks #1 in the country in adjusted offensive efficiency. These are the last 10 teams to have led the country in that category in their respective seasons. And now here are the players that led each of those teams in assist rate, meaning Braden Smith assists on 46% of Purdue's baskets when he's on the court. The only player on the list close to that number is Jawan Evans, which was during Brad Underwood's only season coaching at Oklahoma State. Even Jalen Brunson and Cooper Flagg, who both won National Player of the Year, were just at 27%. During Smith's first 2 college seasons playing with Zach Edey, his signature pass was where he'd drive to the basket, make it look like he was going up for a finger roll layup, and then lob the ball up backwards to Edey for a dunk. He even generated 2 assists that way in the 2024 national title game. But as an upperclassman, I'd say his signature pass has become the behind the back. He loves to dribble off a ball screen to the right, then hit the roller in stride with a behind the back bounce pass. It's a pass few point guards have the audacity to even try, and yet it's become a relatively regular occurrence for Smith this season. In this video, I'll show you how Braden Smith orchestrates the #1 offense in the country with some of the best passing you'll see at any level of basketball. This video is sponsored by Huddle. If game prep starts with film, Huddle is built to get you from video to decisions faster. With Sports Code and Huddle Instat, coaches can break down games, study tendencies, and get straight to the clips that matter without digging through multiple platforms. This is Braden Smith's pick and roll page on Huddle Instat. If we scroll down, the thing that stands out to me is his tendency to go right off of the ball screen about twice as much as he goes left. We can then click on any number and watch, for example, the 53 times he went left. And then inserting those clips into a sports code sorter is just one click away. With Huddle, film, data, and scouting all live in one place, so coaching staff spend less time organizing and more time actually preparing. Coaches use Huddle to turn film study into clearer game plans. Learn more at huddle.com/hoopvision. This might seem counterintuitive in a video about passing, but we actually need to start by talking about Smith's jump shot. On pull-up 2-point jumpers this season, he's been absolutely lights out, shooting 57%. He especially loves the mid-range fadeaway on the right baseline. That's his sweet spot after getting to the second level of the defense. These are the 10 high major players who have shot the most off-the-bounce 2-point jumpers this season, and of course Smith is shooting the best percentage on those shots of anyone on the list. Now, a weakness in Smith's game is that he's not a great finisher at the rim. He's really not that interested in even trying to finish at the rim unless it's wide open, preferring to drive to pass instead. In fact, on layups in the half court, so not including transition, he's shooting 48%, meaning he's been better on 2-point jumpers than on layups. You don't find that combination often. I should note, in the first 3 seasons of his Purdue career, Smith shot 42% on pull-up 2s. That is still above the NCAA average, but his increased efficiency this season is on a whole different level. Because of how good he's shooting the ball, it makes it very hard to play drop coverage. The goal of drop is to guard the ball screen 2-on-2 and not help with the other 3 defenders. Force a mid-range pull-up instead of tagging off of a shooter. But when you're shooting well above 50% on those shots the defense theoretically wants to give up, that changes the dynamic. Plus, drop coverage also gives Smith space and comfort to dissect the defense, enabling him to play on his own terms instead of being aggressively pressured. These reasons are why many teams have chosen to get aggressive against Smith and not let him freely get to his mid-range spots. So now let's talk about how he attacks those aggressive coverages, which is where we can really see his exceptional court vision and passing abilities on full display. The first thing a lot of teams try to do is heat him up in the backcourt. They'll deny him the ball on the inbounds or just pick him up full court and try to wear him down by making him exert extra energy bringing the ball up. Of course, when you extend your defense, you do run the risk of giving up easy drives. That's not necessarily Smith's normal game, but he's capable of a blow-by to keep the defense honest. I started out the video showing you Purdue using the rescreen. That wasn't just a Houston-only strategy. They like to rescreen against all teams that hedge or blitz. The idea here is that there's going to be slippage if you force the big to hedge 2 times in a row. Watch Penn State here. On this screen, they have a textbook hedge, but on the rescreen, Smith just blows right by, then finds the open man when the help steps up. Smith is excellent at splitting or snaking the screen if the big is late in the coverage. If the opponent's positioning isn't on point, he's going to exploit it. This is a really good example of the snake. Oscar Clough flips the screen, so now the Rutgers defender is on the wrong side of the play. As the D scrambles to get back to even, Smith snakes the ball to get to the right elbow jumper. Sometimes when teams hedge, they have the tendency to be robotic. The Penn State defender has pretty good technique here, but he's not actually making Smith feel uncomfortable. Theoretically, the hedge should be forcing the ball backwards, but Smith just absorbs it and gets downhill anyways, completely defeating the purpose of the coverage. Watch how patient he is against this coverage. He's forced to back up a little bit, but then attacks before the on-ball defender can get back to even, again getting downhill. And one more example here, Kent State hedges, but Smith absorbs it and attacks for another tough fadeaway. Now the other thing that aggressive coverages open up is the short roll, and that's where Kaufman-Renn enters the picture. Smith has had more assists to Kaufman-Renn than any other teammate in his Purdue career, and that's because Kaufman-Renn is one of the best short rollers in the country. He loves his 2-footed floater, and what makes him unique is how deep his range is on that little touch shot. He'll shoot it from 15 plus feet away from the basket. So now the defense is in quite a conundrum. If you play drop coverage, you're giving up Smith pull-up jumpers. If you play aggressive, you're giving up Kaufman-Renn floaters. Both players are shooting above 50% on those shots this season. Kaufman-Renn is also a good passer out of the short roll. The prettiest part of Purdue's offense is when Smith has the ball, Kaufman-Renn is setting the screen, and the other big, either Clough or Jacobson, is in the dunker spot. Naturally, the defense wants to get the ball out of Smith's hands. Then when Kaufman-Renn gets the ball, they want the big to step up and take away the floater, all leading to a lob at the rim. It's incredibly satisfying to watch how quickly the Boilermakers can turn a ball screen into 2 passes and a dunk. It's why, for my money, the Smith-Kaufman-Renn ball screen is the hardest single action to guard out of any team's offense in the country. It reminds me of the Steph Curry-Draymond Green pick and roll when NBA teams put 2 on the ball against Steph. This example is that same sequence of events I just mentioned, but now the Rutgers defense collapses on Clough, so he just kicks it back out to Smith for a 3-ball. Purdue has fantastic ball movement. There were 3 different plays against Wisconsin, which really illustrates why Purdue is so hard to guard. In example 1, they blitz Smith, who finds Kaufman-Renn for the short roll floater. In example 2, they blitz again, help comes to take away the floater, but all that does is lead to a Fletcher Lawyer 3. Then the third example, they help off of Clough's man to take away the floater. Andrew Rohde has to zone up and guard 2 on the weak side, but Purdue's ball movement finds finds the open man anyways. It's pick your poison for the defense. So I've spent all this time on the short roll, but Purdue actually has an elite long roller for Smith to play with as well. When Daniel Jacobson sets the ball screen, he won't short roll, he rolls all the way to the basket for potential alley-oops. It gives Matt Painter a whole other dynamic to play with. Smith and Jacobson have connected on the third most alley-oops this season of any other duo in the country according to CBB Analytics. Because of Jacobson's size at 7'4", Smith just needs to get it up in the vicinity of the rim for Jacobson to finish. This one is probably my favorite of the alley-oops. Jacobson is at a standstill, both Iowa defenders see the play coming, but Smith still fits it in there for the dunk. One thing I like to do is just pause the game when the opponent has 2 on the ball against Smith and then try to predict where and how he's going to make his next pass. Here he's basically double teamed but manages to step through the trap and throw a dart to Lawyer for a 3. He's just so comfortable playing against 2 on the ball. And here he's being forced to the sideline but makes a ridiculous bowling ball pass in a spot that only Clough can get to away from the help defense. I've gone this far without even really mentioning Purdue's highly intricate offensive scheme. They're known for running lots of set plays. So even though they probably could just come down and put Smith right into a ball screen, instead they use lots of movement and screening to soften the defense before getting to their main action. It makes the Boilermakers an even tougher cover. They have great shooting, great passing, and great scheme. It all comes together to form the #1 offense in the country. To wrap this up, let's look at one more Smith pass. He starts out by receiving zoom action and then dragging the big out towards the wing. Right now, Harris looks like the open man, but Smith jumps in the air, gets the tag defender to step towards Harris, and then fits a bullet pass straight into Clough for the bucket. It's just one of many examples of why Smith is the best passer in the country. If you want to support the channel and learn more about basketball analytics, my online course with Ken Pomeroy is available at bballanalytics.com. You can use the promo code YouTube for a discount. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.